Hey guys, welcome to Pages with Sidra. Today we are going to start episode 744 of I Have 90 Billion Licking Gold Coins. If you haven't watched the previous chapters, make sure to check them out on my channel. Now, without any delay, let's dive into the chapter. The sky was filled with endless yellow sand, rolling storms covering the sun and clouds. A terrifying sandstorm raged across 100,000 miles, as if the end of the world had descended. Chen Yuan's secret deal with the demon's oil overlord, of course, could not be seen or heard by the other prodigies. All they felt was the entire world trembling violently. To them, it looked like Chen Yuan had done something outrageous, completely angering the invincible cosmic overlord. The overlord's power erupted like never before. He released his seal, and his terrifying aura kept climbing, stronger and stronger and stronger. The yellow sands gathered together and condensed into a towering giant. A 9 million zhang tall giant of sand and earth. Its massive hands looked like they could tear stars apart. A single punch could shatter suns. The onlookers were struck with despair. Facing this giant, even people like Lan Xingyue, Zilan, Long Yin, Mu Dan, Yao Shaoqi, Hualinger, the sky goddess, Du Gu Ao, Jusin, Shiluan, and Quang Tian, every single one of them felt as small as ants. The seventh sacred land shook violently. Earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, mountains cracking apart, chaos everywhere. This is the true might of a cosmic overlord, someone gasped. Too terrifying, too impossible. How can any galaxy-level cultivator fight such a being? This is power like a god descending, sweeping across the universe. Quang Tian Xingzi broke out in cold sweat. What on earth did Yin Zong do to enrage the overlord this much? Even he lost the courage to challenge the overlord after seeing this. At that moment, the sand giant roared, its voice like thunder shaking the heavens. You despicable brat! How dare you steal my origin power? I'll kill you. Then, suddenly, an enormous black hole ripped open in the giant's abdomen. Terrifying suction poured out, swallowing endless amounts of sand. Chen Yuan stepped out from within the black hole, one hand behind his back, standing proudly upon the cosmic void, sword in hand. He stood atop a devouring black hole, with sun, moon, and stars above his head. Even in front of an invincible overlord, he showed not the slightest fear. So this is the power of a cosmic overlord? Nothing special. Saint's sword intent. One sword to break the heavens. A dazzling sword light burst forth, cutting through 90,000 miles. The massive giant's fists smashed down to meet it. Boom! The heavens split apart. Mountains and rivers shattered. Space collapsed. The 9 million zhang sand giant's body was cleaved apart by Chen Yuan's single sword strike. The overlord coughed up golden blood, his eyes filled with disbelief. Impossible! You can't be this strong. The entire battlefield went silent. Everyone froze in shock. How is this possible? He actually wounded the invincible overlord? With only a galaxy-level cultivation? This is beyond ridiculous. This is the monster who broke the primordial emperor's record. He had shattered their understanding of reality. At the same time, invisible system prompts chimed in. Hualinger, favorability +1 current, 91. Yao Shaoqi, favorability +10 current, 90. Lan Xingyue, favorability +1 current, 102. Then the system voice echoed. Ding. Target Lan Xingyue has reached legendary devotion level. She will never betray you, will obey all commands, and feels eternally indebted to you. Reward, +2 million enhancement points. Current total, 2,050,000. Chen Yuan secretly transmitted his voice. Brother Mo2, your acting is incredible, completely sold the scene. The demon's oil overlord replied in kind. Huh, and your performance was perfect. Honestly, I thought you weren't strong enough to make it look real. But you nearly injured me for real. They both laughed inwardly. Then the overlord cried out again, this time for the audience. No, you thief. Stop at once. Arg. My sand origin. I've been gravely wounded. Finally, the overlord shouted, I admit defeat, and spat another mouthful of golden blood. He waved his hand, revealing a massive spatial gateway hidden beneath the sands, the entrance to the 8th sacred land. The challengers were stunned. He really won. Chen Yuan actually defeated the demon's oil overlord. Long Yin cried, eyes shining with admiration. Chen Yuan waved at the girls, then sent them a telepathic message. When I'm inside, you all challenge the overlord one by one. Don't worry, I'll make sure you pass. With that, he stepped into the shining portal. The 6 girls looked at one another, confused but trusting. Lan Xingyue clenched her fists. Even with my strength, could I really challenge him? But Chen Yuan wouldn't trick me, right? She took a deep breath and stepped forward. Senior, I, Lan Xingyue, wish to challenge you. The demon's oil overlord instantly spat another mouthful of blood, his aura collapsing further. Come then, strike. Boom. Lan Xingyue summoned her blood demon spear and engaged the demon's oil overlord in a fierce duel. But the overlord's aura kept growing weaker and weaker. In less than 5 minutes, he was actually defeated by her. Lan Xingyue froze, stunned. I won. Just like that. She couldn't believe it. If the overlord had unleashed even 1% of the power he used against Chen Yuan earlier, she would have been crushed like an insect. This is insane. I'm just a Galaxy 3rd stage rookie. How could I possibly step into the 8th sacred land? She remembered her original dream. Just to reach the 2nd sacred land. That alone would have been extraordinary for someone from a level 3 civilization planet. Now she was standing before the gate of the 8th? Unreal. Did the overlord let me win? But why? I'm just some weakling, with no background, no reason for a cosmic overlord to show me favor. Confused, she still stepped through the portal. At that moment, across the sacred lands, countless Saint Child tokens lit up. Ding! Congratulations, Yin Zong has successfully entered the 8th sacred land. Current Universal Saint Child ranking, 5th. Ding! Congratulations, Princess Xingyue has successfully entered the 8th sacred land. Current Universal Saint Child ranking, 6th. Saint Land rankings update. 1st Sacred Land, 8.9 million trillion. 2nd Sacred Land, 30 trillion. 3rd Sacred Land, 12.8 billion. 4th Sacred Land, 370,000. 5th Sacred Land, 27,932. 6th Sacred Land, 399. 7th Sacred Land, 16. 8th Sacred Land, 6. All the prodigies across the cosmos went speechless. Yin Zong making it to the 8th land was expected. He had shattered records left by both the primordial god Emperor and flame god Venerable. But Princess Xingyue? How could she qualify? In the 3rd sacred land, Yin Feng Xingzi, currently climbing the flame god peak, turned to stone. What? Xingyue entered the 8th? She now stands alongside Gu Yuzi, Hunyuan Xingzi, true peerless monsters. He thought back. He, Chen Yuan, and Lan Xingyue had all started together on Water Blue Star. Back then, their strengths weren't far apart. Now, 2 had reached the 8th sacred land. He was still stuck in the 3rd. Yes, he had broken through to Galaxy 3rd stage. Yes, for a weak planet like Water Blue Star, this was already record-breaking. No one before had ever reached the 3rd sacred land. But compared to Lan Xingyue and Chen Yuan, his light was utterly dim. He sighed deeply. Looks like all I can do is admire her from afar. She and Brother Yuan, they are the ones truly meant for greatness. As for me, if I can just silently guard her, watch her fly higher, that's enough. True love doesn't mean possessing. As long as she's happy, I'll be content. Then more system messages rang out. Ding! Congratulations, Goddess Zilan, successfully entered the 8th sacred land. Current rank, 7th. Z Ming Xingzi cried out in joy. My sister made it. Our Z family is rising at last. Still, it's brother-in-law who made this possible. Without him, even Zilan couldn't have gone beyond the 6th. Ding! Congratulations, Goddess Long Yin, successfully entered the 8th sacred land. Current rank, 8th. Somewhere in the 5th sacred land, Fire Cliff Xingzi, training his willpower, saw the news. Long Yin? She and I were always equal in strength. How could she enter the 8th? I can't even keep up. Ding! Congratulations, Goddess Mu Dan, successfully entered the 8th sacred land. Current rank, 9th. In that instant, over 100 of her former admirers collectively lost their minds. Ding! Congratulations, Saintess Yao Shao Qi, successfully entered the 8th sacred land. Current rank, 10th. The uproar shook all 8 million trillion prodigies watching. This is madness. How could so many at once breach the 8th sacred land? Horlinger stood frozen, eyes wide, watching Xingyue, Zilan, Long Yin, Mudan, and Yao Shaoqi all succeed one by one. She almost dropped her eyeballs on the floor. She had fought the demon's oil overlord twice herself, with a galaxy 10th stage strength, with the Samsara disc, with her supreme chaos godfire technique. And yet she lost both times. How did girls like Xingyue and Zilan mirror a galaxy 3rd stage, when so easily? Clenching her teeth, she called out, "Senior, please accept my challenge once again." The overlord sneered, "Come, little girl. Show me what you've got." 5 minutes later, Horlinger stood there, frustrated. "Senior, you must have held back on them. Tell me the truth." The overlord shook his head. "Nonsense. I've always judged fairly. But that Chen Yuan brat injured me badly. Without that, do you really think any of you could pass so easily?" Horlinger frowned stubbornly. "Even wounded, you shouldn't be this weak. I don't want to enter the 8th sacred land without knowing the truth." The overlord gave her a sharp look. "Enough, girl. Don't be ungrateful. Do you know what Chen Yuan sacrificed for you? He paid 6 quadrillion galaxy coins to secure your passage. Out of all the women, he emphasized you. The others were just extras. I didn't care for such worldly things, but his sincerity moved me. He begged me for your sake. That's why I relented." The moment those words fell, Horlinger went blank, utterly shocked. That's it for today's chapter recap. If you enjoyed the breakdown, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with the latest manga, manhwa, and manhwa recaps. Got thoughts on today's chapter? Drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear your take on the story. See you in the next one. Until then, keep turning the pages.